Welcome to Diabetes Connections in the News. I'm Stacey Sims, and these are the top diabetes stories and headlines of the past 7 days. In the News is brought to you by the T1D Exchange. T1D Exchange is a nonprofit organization dedicated to improving outcomes for the entire T1D population. Our top story this week, Provention Bio partners with Sanofi to help bring Teplizumab to market. Teplizumab is not yet approved. The FDA is expected to give it the thumbs up later this year. This is the drug shown to prevent type 1 diabetes for up to 3 years. Among other things, Sanofi will get exclusive global marketing rights for the drug. The FDA had asked for more information the last time Teplizumab was up for approval. The 3-month period for that closes in November. A ruling is expected then. New research has found that the age at which people are diagnosed with type 2 is associated with a higher risk of developing serious complications. The study looked at health data for more than 36,000 Americans over age 50, and the researchers found those who were diagnosed with type 2 diabetes between the ages of 50 and 59 had more elevated risks of heart disease, stroke, disability, cognitive impairment, and early death. But when people were diagnosed with diabetes later in life, the risks were reduced. No obvious reason for that. These researchers say it does point to the need for more screening and better prevention and treatment. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services has proposed new draft coverage guidelines for continuous glucose monitors. Under their proposal, they'd cover CGMs for diabetes patients who are treated with insulin or have a history of problematic hypoglycemia, regardless of whether they have type 1 or type 2. From a business standpoint, of course, stock analysts said this is a fantastic thing for CGM makers like Abbott and Dexcom. Not a lot of analysis of what it would mean for patients or the actual definition of problematic hypoglycemia. How many low blood sugars do you have to qualify for something like this? Mark Cubans Cost Plus Drugs announced they have joined with Roche Diabetes, and they will be providing their patients with AccuCheck test strips, lancets, and meters at a reduced cost. This is the first time, I believe, that Cost Plus, Cubans' new online pharmacy, has partnered with a diabetes company. I've reached out to them to talk about insulin. So far, no response, and I haven't seen anything about Cost Plus drugs having insulin available. If you do, please let me know. Researchers who study type 2 have reached a stark conclusion. There is no device and no drug powerful enough to counter the effects of poverty, pollution, stress, a broken food system, cities that are hard to navigate on foot, and inequitable access to health care. This is a long and complicated article published in the New York Times. I'll link it up and I urge you to read it. Can't really do it justice in just a short excerpt here. But these researchers say, quote, "Our entire society is perfectly designed to create type 2 diabetes." Earlier this year, experts laid out a roadmap to address this situation in a comprehensive national report to Congress on diabetes. It's the first of its kind in nearly 50 years. Back to the news in just a moment. But first, the T1D Exchange Registry is a research study designed to gather real-world evidence firsthand, easily, and quickly. But you may not know how they turn the information that we share into actionable reports. For example, right now, they're trying to answer the question, can CGM actually be used as a preventative behavioral tool to promote lifestyle change? They've had some really important studies recently looking at the color of a patient's skin and whether it changes the health care they receive. The research conducted by the T1D Exchange said yes to this question. And there's so much more that they do. The registry aims to improve knowledge of T1D, accelerate the discovery and development of new treatments and technology, and generate evidence to support policy or insurance changes. And that kind of stuff really helps our community. The registry is now available on the T1D Exchange website. It's so simple to use. Please go check it out. T1dregistry.org/Stacey. That's T1dregistry.org/STACEY. Back to the news this week. The Diabetes Design Initiative is looking for college-age people with type 1 to help them design the ultimate alarm for an extreme low. I will put the contact information in the show notes along with a link to the website. I had never heard of the Diabetes Design Initiative, but boy, do I know these names. You probably do too. Ben West, Dana Lewis, and a bunch of others from the early days of We Are Not Waiting. On the podcast next week, teens and type 1, a deep dive into why teen retreats work from the people who organize a fantastic one. And we're also going to talk about how adults with type 1 still use the lessons they learn at these kind of getaways, what they learn as teenagers. And this past episode is all about Dexcom G7 design. I was able to talk to Dexcom's Senior Director of Global Product Design, and you can listen wherever you get your podcasts. Heads up, still, The World's Worst Diabetes Mom is available on Amazon and everywhere else you get your books. November 1st, you can pre-order your copy at diabetes-connections.com. And during the month of October, use the promo code SPOOKY to save $3. And that is in the news for this week. If you like it, please share it. Thanks so much for joining me. I'll see you back here soon.
Diabetes Connections is a production of Stacey Sims Media. All rights reserved, all wrongs avenged.